Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the Level Up My Life podcast. Today, I will be talking about the why behind self-improvement. What is self-improvement? Why is it important? And why should I work on myself? Because before you start on any journey, it's important to have your why. Let's start with the definition. Self-improvement, in my understanding, is fairly self-explanatory. It's the process of identifying aspects of yourself that you want to change and putting in the work to change them. Self-improvement generally has a positive connotation, such that people often imagine taking a negative trait and transforming it into a positive one. For example, on somebody's self-improvement journey, they might realize that they are physically weak and unhealthy, so they put in the work by eating a healthy diet and exercising to become stronger and healthier. In this way, they are taking a negative trait and replacing it with a positive one. However, I think that self-improvement doesn't always have to be a change from a negative to a positive. It could be negative to neutral, or from one neutral that doesn't serve you to another neutral that serves you. Sometimes, self-improvement even means taking a neutral view of oneself and switching it to a positive view. What do I mean by this? Well, in my personal experience, I have struggled with negative thoughts. Sometimes it's not reasonable to switch the negative all the way around to a positive, so instead I switch a negative thought to a neutral one. An example could be changing the thought, I'm not smart, to I'm smart enough. You're not changing the negative thought of I'm not smart all the way around to I'm a genius. You may at some point be able to switch the phrase I'm smart enough to I'm a genius, but especially when you're starting out, it might be easier to try switching a negative thought to a neutral one, hence the switch from I'm not smart to I'm smart enough. How about an example of switching one unhelpful neutral mindset to a better neutral one? For me, this usually looks like an adjustment of how I define myself. As an example, I graduated from college semi-recently. Using the term college student in reference to myself was a helpful identifier when I was in college, but now the term college graduate suits me better. You might be wondering what this has to do with self-improvement or mental health. For me, the mindset shift from student to graduate was important in helping me navigate post-life graduation. It wasn't a switch from a negative to a positive, it was just a change of terms. The mindset of a college graduate is different because college graduates often don't have a set schedule immediately post-graduation, and in my case, since I wasn't working at the time, I needed to build that routine and schedule myself. I needed to realize that in becoming a college graduate, I didn't have the same role or purpose as a student. When I continued thinking of myself as a student, I felt guilty when I wasn't studying, writing, or fulfilling one of the tasks that I used to as a student. I had to learn how to reframe my definition of productivity by reframing my own view of myself. Occasionally, I have also changed neutral self-talk or aspects of myself to something more positive. For example, I am grateful to have never been extremely weak or unhealthy in my life, but as part of my self-improvement journey, I became stronger and healthier through exercise and a healthy diet. I didn't take a negative in my life, like muscular weakness, and change it into a strength. I just took my neutral starting point and made it a better, more positive situation for myself. In terms of self-talk and thoughts, sometimes I have neutral views of myself, but find that I benefit more from a positive view of myself. As an example, say I'm about to go to deliver an important presentation. At any moment, I'd say I'm okay at public speaking. I don't freeze up the way I used to, but I'm also not the most eloquent or well-practiced speaker either. However, in the moments leading up to the important presentation, I may find it helpful to hype myself up. Some might say that I'm being delusional when I say things to myself like, I'm the best public speaker ever, but switching the neutral thought of, I'm okay at public speaking to, I'm the best, or I'm awesome at this, gives me the confidence boost that I need to perform my best. So, to summarize, self-improvement is the process of changing one or more aspects of oneself to align with a healthier, happier version of oneself. Self-improvement may mean changing negative traits to positive ones, negative traits to neutral ones to positive ones, or unhelpful neutral aspects to more helpful neutral ones. Now let's discuss why self-improvement is important. When you're starting your self-improvement journey, you need to find your own why. For me, I had a few whys for starting my self-improvement journey. I've always been seeking to get smarter and better my whole life. However, I'd say my journey really began in 2021 when I hit rock bottom. I was mentally at the lowest point I'd ever been. All of my accumulated, unaddressed mental health issues finally overflowed and plunged me into a very dark, scary depression. When I hit rock bottom, I realized I had two choices: either let the depression consume me, or dig myself back out of this hole. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I couldn't let my depression swallow me whole and never spit me back out. I was going to have to climb. So I started my mental health and self-improvement journey with the help of an incredible therapist. More on that in a later podcast episode. My other reason for focusing on self-improvement is because I find myself lonely a lot of the time. I've got wonderful family and friends, but with all of our various schedules and commitments, I spend a lot of time alone. I figure I'm the only person I'm guaranteed to spend my entire life with, so I might as well enjoy my own company, hence my self-improvement journey. I would say that the best reason to start your self-improvement journey is to be happier. Your motivation should be, for lack of better words, selfish. It's easy to say something like, if I just drop 10 pounds, or if I just get an A in this class, I'll get the approval of my romantic partner, or my friend, or my family member. However, even if you do achieve your goal, it might not win you the approval of anybody. And in the end, the only person's approval you really need is your own. It's hard to let go of people-pleasing behaviors. I get it. I used to be just like that myself. I would try to become the kind of person other people wanted me to be, but in the end, their approval was never enough to make me happy. I didn't like who I was. I felt like I was fake. I lost some important parts of myself along the way. It was only once I started prioritizing myself and focusing on what's important to me, rather than what's important to those around me, that I started to love myself and enjoy life more. So, why should you work on yourself? Because you'll be happier if you do. You'll become so self-obsessed, in a good way, not a narcissistic way, that other people's opinions won't matter. You'll be self-sufficient and content with achieving what matters to you, not to your parents, friends, partner, or society. Detaching your self-image and self-worth from others' expectations is so freeing, and it gives you permission to be authentically yourself without fear of judgment, because others' judgments won't even matter anymore. When you keep leveling up and becoming your best self, focusing on just becoming the best you that you can be, I promise you, put in the work, and everything else will naturally fall into place. If that's not the ultimate reason to begin or continue your self-improvement journey, I don't know what is. So, before you move on to the next episode of this podcast, take a moment to journal or otherwise reflect on your why. Why is it important to you to improve? What do you want to improve? How will you achieve that? If you don't have your answers just yet, don't worry, you'll get plenty of inspiration from the next several episodes. Just think about your why and we can figure out the rest together. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you in the next episode of Level Up My Life, sending you all the good vibes.